Let me explain you how. You already have a GPS-like system built in you to go back to the source of what you are, which is everything you want, which, let's say, for the sake of simplicity in this video, I'm going to call it heaven, because it's more than you think you want. Imagine accomplishing everything you could accomplish in your life, like fixing all the problems and achieving all the things that you want, from money to relationships to accomplishment at work, or all that together doesn't get to combine to be even close to what is already accessible to you. And the way you access that, it is by relaxing your mind. So it's not something you have to know. It's not something you have to accomplish in the future. It's not new information. The point of this video is not to tell you something you don't know, but more to encourage you, to give you the power to trust yourself. Because there is no other way out of your own suffering, your own mental trouble, than resting in the silence of the truth of what is. And as this may sound simple, I hear some people complaining, yeah, you make it look so easy, but it's not like that. It's way more difficult. I understand that. That's where someone says something like that and say, okay, just sit and meditate. Because the whole process of meditation is to access this GPS. This GPS is already there. It's like in Christianism, they will call it the Holy Spirit. It is something that is taking you by the hand and leading you back home. Wherever you are, it just doesn't matter. You have something in you that knows the connection between wherever you are lost in your own dream, in your own matrix, in your own simulation, whatever it is. It knows perfectly the way back to that what we're missing. Some people will call it the presence of God. Some people will call it enlightenment. And it's important to say that it's way more than you think. Because our minds tell us, oh, what you really want is to feel safe by having enough money, or by having a job, or manipulating people around you or circumstances around you. But let me tell you, that will never work. And you know this already, right? You know that we're working very hard to get rid of this. We're working really hard to get, to let go of our past and our trauma. But actually, this is all our mind. You are ready to jump right now, right here. So what we are really missing is the courage to take the invitation of this moment. Instead of trying to fix yourself, instead of trying to fix your life and accomplish this or accomplish that in order to be happy, what all the teachers, all the sages through history have said is that you are there already. That's why you cannot get there. No matter how hard you try, you never get there. Why? Because you're already there. So the only way out of the matrix and the simulation is by actually noticing that you cannot suffer if you don't have certain mental patterns active. This is very powerful. To me, it completely changed my life. Completely, radically, sadly. Just release a huge amount of burden. No psychology, no nothing. Just to have the courage and the trust to step back one level from the way you see the world and embrace not just the world you are trying to fight outside, but also your internal world, to see it with clarity in the same way that you see the external world. And to, of course, little by little, by doing that, you will make all the connections and you will start noticing, well, there is no real line that divides you and the world. Everything is completely interconnected, and then it's constantly moving. I mean, if you really understand that it can only be accomplished by letting go of the person who's trying to accomplish and to do and to fix. But at some point when you are able to rest enough in this relaxation, that we call it meditation, you will little by little learn how to disengage these internal unconscious activities that are defining your experience and thus creating a strong reaction in you. Sometimes these emotions build up like, this cannot happen, this should happen, I want that, I need that. All that is mental, it's a reaction. All that emotions that drive us crazy is a reaction to something that's happening, but filter through our mind. So one easy way to step down all this hyperactivity disorder and relax and see with a bit more clarity and say, okay, what's happening? It is to actually embrace in the field of your attention, embrace what's happening inside of you. That's a common practice. And yet, this may not take you to what I was mentioning before, because you can get stuck in this level still, believing that things are on their own without your interaction with them. So you're still blaming, you're still feeling like a victim. And this is not something intellectual to discuss. This is something that you honestly have to observe yourself and realize how you react to things in your life. And if you still feel fear, as much as you may be a well-educated spiritual person and you know a lot and you meditated a lot and you read a lot of books and you say everything everybody's going to say before they say it, and still, if you notice in your day-to-day life that you feel some friction, some anger, some fear, some kind of resisting emotion, then that's okay. You don't need to tell anyone. You can keep it for yourself, but be honest with that. You never lose that compass, because that, by the understanding of many people, that is your GPS. Your suffering, ironically, it is an intrinsic part, is the map of your GPS. So I'm thinking of the parallel with this. There is this in the idea of following the God's will compared to your will, like you trying to will yourself through life. And no, this is me, and I want this, and I want that. And there's this religious understanding based on God that says, just follow God's will. That's what's happening. And that can be a very confusing thing to say and to understand. But in a way, it's very simple. It's, I think, what is really meaning by that teaching. It is to follow what's happening. Open your eyes and see that you cannot, as an isolated bunch of atoms and cells, you cannot control the whole universe. So start just reading it. Be open to it. Because only then you will see the information that you need for your GPS to actually work properly. Otherwise, the GPS is just confused. Just imagine that you type in your GPS, I want to go to heaven. Please take me to heaven. But at the same time, I want to go to the grocery store, and I also need to go and do this. And all these things, all these complex, multi-layered desires of many, many, many things is what is really confusing the GPS. And it seems like your mind is leading you to more suffering. But the only reason why that's happening is because you're not clear with yourself on what you really want underneath everything you think you want. So hopefully you can one day to say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I only want peace. I only want to feel complete peace and enjoyment and fulfillment. I just want that. The rest of the things, I'm fine. A religious person would say, God, take care of everything else. I will mind my business. I will just try not to screw it by getting all this separated person reacting to the world thing. Just be there. Just be there. Just observe the world and trust that there's no coincidence in life. And many people mention this and say, yeah, well, if you would really completely understand what that means, to experience everything that happens as a flow of it should happen like that. Imagine what it is to live your life, and every time you find an obstacle, instead of fighting it, instead of thinking this shouldn't be on my way, just understanding that for some reason that is a pointer and that is leading you to somewhere else. So if you are hands-free and you're letting your GPS actually take care of the trip, your GPS will automatically self-correct and will turn into a different direction through that obstacle. That different direction is a different understanding. And in that way alone, many teachers affirm that you can live already this life that you're living, you can live it without any friction. It doesn't mean that you have reached the ultimate enlightenment thing, but you can still, with training, with training in letting go actually, but just for the sake of simplicity, we'll call it meditation, just by paying attention to what's happening consistently all the time, internally and externally, you get to see clearly things. You get to follow your GPS. And at some point, you let go the hands and the wheel of controlling your life and getting there and doing this. You let go of it and you let the autopilot drive you there. It's not just a GPS. It is also autopilot. But then I understand that needs trust. But that trust, it is a letting go. So you could access it now if you feel ready for it. It only takes you to say, I'm gonna let things be as they are. I'm gonna dare to understand everything as a perfect whole. Everything is part of the same. Or at least not divided in your mind with things I like, with things I don't like, with things I need to get done with. And just rest in this pure peace, knowing that you're getting there. The river is pulling you down into the sea of perfect happiness, always. The path is already even set. It looks like it's changing, but your GPS is clear on where you're going. So it looks like the elements in your life are changing, but you're actually doing the same path, always, all the time. You are just making the path back to what you are. You're expanding your attention. You're resting in presence. That's all that you're doing. And you let things happen. And it grows in you to the point that you know that at some point everything's going to be fine. But if you rest in perfect stillness, you come to directly see it. Like the Matrix. You see the interconnectedness of everything, even the thoughts that cross your mind, and how you are so beyond it while you're experiencing it. But at the same time, you are so beyond it. You're not trapped in a body and a mind. You are already perfect. You are already there. Just stop denying it. Trust. There's something in you that knows always. Trust that part of your mind. Don't affirm that the world is complicated. And the world will become very simple and straightforward. And the path will be revealed in front of you.